I think he can hear you, Ray.
Don't move. It won't hurt you.
I feel the need for speed. Ow! So together we're the Three Amigos.
Right here. Stop.
What happened? Are you okay?
He's sliding.
It's getting hot in here. Is it just me?
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
Welcome to After the Weekend. My name is JT Gunn, and we have Beard of Liberty. And again, we have Def Row down below.
Well,
he's decided to stick around for November. He liked us so much, he wanted to hang out even
It's
more.
like a cat. He shows up once, you give him a little bit of food and sticks around forever.
you didn't go give me food, just give me something to watch.
Some would say, Beard, that's what we did to you.
That's exactly what you did with me.
So anyways, we are here on Monday, Veterans Day. We are excited to kick off November. We're kind of doing like an American month here on After the Weekend. So we are kicking it off with American Tail, but before we get into all that, we are going to give a nice little thank you message to all the veterans out there. Thank you very much for all you have done or are doing to make this great country great and serving it. So we appreciate everything you do, and we wouldn't have great movies that we talk about all the time, or some not great movies, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sure some of you have done a lot out there, and we really do appreciate it. I just let you know, though, if you do plan on doing a hunger strike, this guy's got you.
I won't allow it.
What are you going to do to me, Daddy?
Tighten my belt by one loop so I don't feel hunger pains. And your sister and mother will have to do likewise. Okay, Joshua, you want to get rough with me? You want to show me that you don't like the choice of this house for our vacation by going on a hunger strike? Well, I'll accept the challenge. But just remember, when I was your age, I really did suffer from hunger. We'll see who gets through this. But just remember, I've got more practice than you. I'll see you tomorrow.
In all seriousness, though, dude, no, seriously, thank you very much, Beard. Look at you smiling. I needed to make you smile today. You've had a Monday.
The anger on his face looks so real.
It does. Steve Squeaker says cracks are up every time. No, in all seriousness, though, you all are great. So I do appreciate that. We do appreciate all that. So, also a quick update. R2 is doing well. He's doing okay, actually. He went into surgery, got out of his surgery on Friday evening, I believe. Saturday had a little bit of complications after the fact, but he is on the mend. He's doing pretty good. He just has to listen to the nurses and stuff and make sure he gets healthy and comes back all ready to do movies and review and have all the laughs. So if he's watching out there, Beer, I got something special for him if he's watching. Hopefully, maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe he'll watch later. So I got this for him. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Some nurse is going to come running in because his heart rate and his blood pressure just went way up.
Yeah, wishing R2 a speedy recovery. Yeah, we all are. We all miss him. We miss him very much. What's up, Jacob? Good to see you. All the prayers for Icky. Yeah, listen to those nurses. Sometimes they're right. Mm-hmm. I meant to vote for freedom. Oh, yes, there is a poll in the chat. It's America. And then freedom or freedom with all caps. So go ahead and pick that. Doesn't matter which one you do, but we'll see who picks what.
It matters. It shows your enthusiasm or your apathy.
It does. You are absolutely right, and there's a lot of good stuff to be proud of America this month. So that's why we're doing America Month, and yeah, I'm excited. American Tail is what we are going to do tonight, and we're having a little bit of a technical difficulty, so bear with us on some of this stuff. There we go. All right, now American Tail, 1986. Beer, was this a first watch for you?
No, I watched this a lot when I was little. I hadn't watched it probably since like the last time my youngest sibling, my sister, watched it, and I would probably have been 13, maybe.
Okay.
So it's been many, many years. It was a
Yeah,
fun revisit.
Yeah, this was one of those movies I watched a lot as a kid. Actually, I think I burnt out the VHS. We've done a lot of those movies here, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us done that to this movie. Death Row I'm sure this wasn't a first watch for you.
No, I'm the same way. I saw this a lot when I was a kid. The thing is, I can't remember if this was ever in theaters or not.
Oh, it was. It was in movie theater.
Okay. Because I don't think I ever saw it in theaters. I think we just rented it a lot from the store.
It was one of those Don Bluth films that went to movie theaters that kids loved. We're talking like Land Before Time. We did one, Rock-a-Doodle.
All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Yeah, so it was right during that time period where when these cartoons were just doing really good. I roped Beard into my first time watch. What does that mean?
Well, we watched it together today.
Okay.
Yeah.
You watched this movie together today?
Yes.
Okay, very cool. All right. It's a great movie. It's fun. So I'm excited to talk about it. There's a lot of neat things, a little hidden things about this movie. So we're definitely going to talk about it. So this will be great to do. All right, let's get going here.
Yeah, there's a lot in the background of this movie that I saw that I kind of wanted to skip back and watch. Had I been watching it on my own, I probably would have stopped many, many times.
Yeah.
And it probably was nothing, but I think there's a lot of details in the background of this film that even if you've seen it recently, go watch it again and start watching the details of the background, because there's a lot of little things in there that change. And I think like little hidden messages, and I don't mean like creepy hidden messages. I mean like the hidden messages that pertain to the scene that's actually happening.
Right. Yes, and I guess I didn't realize it when I was a kid because real quick, this movie, when you're watching this, you think he's very far away from his parents, but he's really not.
He walks past them like 6 times. Like as soon as he gets there, he's lifted past their house to live on top of like a couple floors above them.
Yep. So I mean, I guess that would happen in New York. It's a big city, but
Especially
yeah,
when you're a little mouse.
Yeah, little mouse. It is a mouse. Yeah, this was a Don Bluth film. Like I said, we have reviewed some of those before. They all have the same kind of gritty but fun artistic tale, and there's always some special message, a really great message at the end of the movie. There's always some weird, creepy villain that scares the crap out of you as a kid. So we'll definitely go in all of that.
There's some dark themes in here, and some personifications of things that are
oh yeah. And this one made these cartoons great, I think, is this, and the poster on the right is the original poster where he's coming off the immigration boat there in early America. So we're definitely cover his story and everything else. But this does take place in 1885 in New York City, which was crazy because this was almost they literally launched this movie about almost 101 years since when the movie takes place. So
well, I think if you actually factor in the fact that it came out in 86, and by the end of the movie, the Statue of Liberty is completed. It was completed in America in 86. So
It was.
it would have started towards the end of 1885 and crossed over by the end.
So
of
it was
the
a
40s.
yeah. It was 100 years since the Statue of Liberty was built and brought over to New York. So I think it was really kind of a movie to honor that whole symbol, right, of America. And at this time in 1885, it was still a young America. We were talking 100 years, right? And but they were growing. We were growing so fast, and a lot of people wanted to come here for freedoms that they didn't have elsewhere. But they wanted to come here to be American, right? They were wanting to do the American things, and they show a lot of that in this movie, like them doing the Pledge of Allegiance and singing American songs and waving American flags. It's like everywhere in this movie, so it's a very patriotic movie, and it was perfect for the 80s, and it's perfect for now.
And I remember this movie being popular for a very long time. Not just the year it came out. I mean, it was years after. Like especially like McDonald's, they kept doing like toys every year of this movie.
Oh yeah, this movie. If you talk to a kid that was between 1985 to probably 96, they've probably seen this movie quite a few times. And again, it's a tale of early America right after the Civil War. You know, a good couple decades after that, and it's right on the brink of the Industrial Revolution, and it's just cool stuff. Cool history. Let's see, I had a coloring book, but never saw the movie until today. Oh, really? Wow. I thought a mouse would have loved to see this movie. That's pretty interesting. Yeah, very cool. New York City in 1885. Now, it is about a family of mice that are from Russia. They're terrified of cats of Russia, and they're kind of being they feel oppressed, I guess, by the cats, and they have to leave.
Well, and this is the part I was talking to you about. It was at the very beginning here. It's something I noticed as an adult I did not notice as a kid when I saw this movie. And I noticed it for the first time because this is the first time watching it as an adult years later. I put the subtitles on and everything and try to, see what I've missed. There's a lot going on in these first scenes.
Yeah. You want to go ahead and describe it?
Well, A, they're Russian, right?
Yeah.
B, they're Jewish.
Yes, they're Jewish. Yes, they're from Jewish Russia. So yeah.
Okay. C, they're celebrating Christmas. D, he's giving out Hanukkah presents, and I'm like, what is going on here? There's like 4 different things all in that one first scene, and then all of a sudden the cats come in and run them out, like a oppression there.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, I don't know all of Russian history. Okay, I barely know any of Russian history, but I do find it interesting that the cats are no matter where they are in the world, the cats are portrayed as like the oppressors of the mice. So we see the cats. The cats come running in with Cossack soldiers that are attacking and burning a village, and then we see the cats later on in New York being the gangsters that are taking advantage of these immigrants that are struggling.
Yeah, it even goes so far as to dress up like a mouse, pretend to be one of them.
Yeah, you're yes, and I think you're right. I think at this time Russia was not quite the Soviet Union that we saw in World War II, but it was the Russia. It was still probably they probably persecuted quite a few groups of people.
Well, see, and then they left in a ship from Germany as well.
Yeah, so they escaped Russia. Yeah.
So a lot more time. The time frame from what happens from the start of the movie to the end of the movie here, I think, is much greater than what we expect.
Yeah.
Because even once they get to America, the head of the Statue of Liberty and the torch are not mounted. And then not very long after that, we cut to another scene and they're up there again. So I took it to mean that Fievel's been wandering around for like weeks trying to find his family at that point.
Maybe.
But I do want to mention real quick from that previous frame. We don't have to go back to it. They have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
The baby disappears about a third into the movie, and you never see Yasha. I think it was whatever her name is again.
You really want to
And-
know what happens?
You just assumed
Well-
that they got a babysitter.
Do you want to
We'll
know
see.
what really happened?
Okay, JT, what really happens?
Do you want to know what really happened to the baby?
What happened?
It didn't make it over the sea.
Well, see, it did.
And you had to bring it up.
It's like in one scene, I think, in America, but what it's if you know Don Bluth animations, yeah. If you know Don Bluth and his like relationship with the studios, is he's really particular. He really wants to do a lot of work. He wants to kind of work longer and more, cost more money than the studios want. So they typically rush him and his crew at some point. We came across that like Pete's Dragon. So the going theory here is that something happened behind the scenes and the animators just forgot about the kid. So they were probably having to put in a whole bunch of work in a small amount of time and forgot about her. But then she's back again for the sequel, which has led to the fan theory that that's actually an alternate universe, because in the first universe she did die at some point. But in my head canon, there's some like sweet old grandma mouse that lives next to him that says, "Oh, I'll take care of your baby.
Yeah,
Y'all go look for your son."
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah. So okay.
sorry, that bothered me today because
No,
like,
it's okay.
we were watching
I forgot
that. And
she
we're like,
was
where'd
in.
the baby go? Where did the
forgot
baby
she was
go?
in the sequels. Maybe hey, maybe she's just chilling in a crib somewhere. But anyways, the dad's very he's very excited about America.
America, what a place!
He there's no cats in America according to him, right? And okay,
About it.
that makes sense. Some revolution was happening.
Oh, okay, maybe not leading up to it. Sorry, I'm just catching up on the comments because I was actually talking for a minute there.
Yeah, this was 1885, so it was like 20 years before that. So it probably could have leading up to that. So, anyways, he's all about America. He tells them there's no cats there. The kids are excited to go, and like you said, they get on a boat. And a lot of immigrants did this from Poland, from Germany. But they go from Russia to Germany because it's right on the border there, and then they head over across the Great Atlantic. Now, a lot of people did this. A lot of people didn't make it. A lot of people got sick, or other probably crazy stuff happened. But this is the boat they were on. Very crazy ship, and then they're there with other families. So I'm pretty sure this is like normal. Like this is probably what it looked like for the people on the boat too. Like they're kind of cuddled up together, or
oh yeah,
not everyone had a spot to sleep. Maybe.
I mean,
Yeah,
most
this
people,
is the lower decks.
Yeah, most people only had enough money to afford to basically be cargo.
Yeah.
You didn't have a room. You just had space where you might be able to stretch your legs occasionally.
Yeah. Oh, Fire Dust. Hey, how's it going? Yeah, this movie does not get enough love. You are absolutely right. Well, it depends what time period you're. Yeah, I guess like any kid from the 80s to the 90s, they love this movie. But you are right. It's a really great American movie, and it does tell a great American tale. So, it just kind of it shows what people went through to get to this country at that time.
And there are a lot of little things too, like when Fievel's being a pest getting onto the boat, and his dad turns around and goes, "This is the last time I'm taking you to America."
Yeah, they do pipe in a lot of like modern language
like
in here.
In Fievel, like I imagine they've been on the boat for like maybe 2 days. Are we there yet? It's like no kid. It's gonna take like 6 more weeks.
Clearly, you don't have kids. That's within 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, I imagine he'd asked that several times already.
Yeah, we all know what Beard would be doing right now if his kid was complaining.
Yeah, the whole scene where they're going up the rope to get into the boat, and he kept stopping to ask questions about what's this and what's that. That is a real thing.
Yeah,
if you got kids, you know exactly what that is.
Yeah, it is absolutely true. Yeah, but the families, they're here. However, something goes wrong, and he loses his hat. Fievel loses his hat and he goes to chase
loses. He sees that the door is open and there are fish falling down from the stairs, and he wants to see more fish because he saw the herring in the barrel. Yeah. So he takes his hat off and he throws it up the stairs and goes, "I'm getting my hat, Papa." And so he didn't lose it. Actually, he remarkably should have lost it, but that hat is just magical and keeps coming back throughout the entire movie.
You are correct. So he gets separated from his family. He's actually on the boat, really. Like he's kind of on the boat still, but no, he's in a bottle, right?
He ends up getting washed overboard.
Yeah, but but the bottle's like next to the boat.
It does conveniently wash up at least somewhere nearby.
Yeah, he's always next to his family somehow. And then he meets this guy, and this is the pigeon, the French pigeon, that's hanging out on. This is what you were talking about, Beard of Liberty, about the Statue of Liberty being constructed at this time.
And very appropriate being a French pigeon since the statue came from France.
Yeah, so there's a lot of little things like this. Like, why would there be a French pigeon? Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Fievel just kind of just bummed. He lost his family. He doesn't know he's in this massive new world. And he's like, I'll never find my family. And this is when you get one of those songs that this movie has a ton of. Where he
say never.
Keep going.
I can't keep going. Although he's being as long as it has been since I've seen this movie, all the songs came back to me pretty easily.
Yeah, it was like just clicked in your head, right? You're like, oh, I remember singing that as a kid. And I always thought the French guy was cool because he had that lady pigeon.
he had several lady pigeons that showed up with their feathers.
Yeah, the big breasted pigeons.
That's what she said.
I mean, back in the day when I sang these songs, I was so young. I actually had the range of not just Fievel, but also his sister.
Wow.
Then I grew a beard and started smoking cigars, and I can't do that anymore.
And racing car.
I'll beat you! See you later, loser!
That one weirds me out more than anything else.
Why?
I don't know, because it's one of the few that actually has a beard.
Because it looks like you.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, before we continue on, I just want to thank we've had a lot of new subscribers in the last month. I just want to say thanks everyone. If you are new tonight, this is what we do. We review movies from the past, and we just have a good time. There is some shenanigans involved, so we don't really take ourselves too seriously. So if you keep enjoying that, then stick around. Yeah.
Talk about French pigeons.
Yeah, French pigeons. Now, I wanted to really get into some of the artwork of this movie and the way they draw New York, or drew New York, and the details, like you said, Beard, like kind of in the background where you want to go back and look. It's really great.
Actually, on this, and I wasn't sure where I was going to bring it up. So if you don't mind, I'll just interject here. There's some things in here that if you're really paying attention to the animation, they stand out. Like one of the first ones I noticed was when Fievel's being taken up to the top of the tower in that basket, and it's turning and it's looking a little bit more 3D than you would expect for a 1986 an animated movie, especially in a Don Bluth movie. There was something that he started doing. I had to look it up. That's what I was looking at the beginning of the show, trying to figure out what this actually was called. He's used it on a couple of films before this, but they ended up calling it zeography. They would literally Xerox frames of animation where they would actually film a physical object on camera doing a thing. Then they would basically just crank up the contrast, copy it on a Xerox machine onto animation cells, and then like trace over it and paint color on top of it. And so there's the basket, the big machine at the end has some of that.
Oh yeah, and we'll show it later, but yeah, they do it for the Statue of Liberty.
It sounds similar to rotoscope.
It is very similar to rotoscoping, but also the cage specifically that Fievel is captured in at one point, because that is a very difficult thing to animate as it's rotating. getting all those lines perfect. And actually, you can tell there's a difference there because when it falls on the ground, the shadows that it's casting do not match the complexity of all the other wires that are there. So that was something that really stood out to me when I was watching it today, and I had to go look it up. And basically, they would just kind of Xerox something with the contrast cranked up and kind of trace over it. They would use actually some of the just regular lines, so they wouldn't actually have to rotoscope over them. They would just fill in some color there too. Yes, there was a pocket watch. That was another one that stood out to me because it was actually turning, and that's kind of like their cheat code for early 3D animation, is they would just layer over these animation cells from actual filmed.
It would be neat to see a video on how they did that. That'd be kind of
Oh
cool.
well, yeah, I want to go digging. I meant to do that earlier today, and I got distracted, so I kind of want to go digging into that.
Darn you.
But anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to completely derail you there, but the animations, everything Don Bluth are fantastic. I like the fact that it is old-fashioned animation because you can see some of the shadows between the cells, between the background and the characters, because the lighting wasn't just perfect then. But that unique technique that they had to create early 3D model effects was such an interesting thing to me. I just had to get that out there.
Well, yeah, and you could see it in some of these stills here, and then some of the stills that we're going to go through. It's like this is what New York looked like. It was, he captured that gritty industrial area look, right, where there was just kind of
which is a
everywhere.
Great contrast to the idealism or the idealistic idea of what they idealistic idea of the ideal image that they had, like going over to America. And you can see that also portrayed in a lot of the animation and the colors. Not only very often, mostly it's with the mood of the characters, but also in the physical locations they're in, where the colors will get a whole lot more muted. And I don't just mean their surroundings. I mean, like Fievel's red shirt will get more dull as he's, depressed, or if he's in a bad spot or he's in a bad part of town.
Right. It's a very I guess the tone of the movie is very kind of moody, right? Sad.
Well, I mean, it is, but it's very dramatic too, in that when you can see the color changes, where it's suddenly like something good will happen, everything will immediately get so much more vibrant.
Yeah. We see a lot of that towards the end.
Well,
you even see it on the ship where everybody's depressed, but as soon as Fievel's dad starts singing, everybody's mood brightens and all the colors brighten.
Yeah. Def, were you going to say something?
Yeah, for the most part, like in all these scenes here, you got different levels of grays and smog that kind of layer the background. I guess depending on where he is in the city, the smog is thicker in some places than in others.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go over the numbers. If you're new here, we go over the budget, the opening weekend, and the gross wide, and we guess it. So we'll do that next.
11, 92, 12, buzz.
Well, all right. Budget, opening weekend, gross worldwide. This is the show where we guess, where you all guess the comments, and Beard of Liberty guess, and Death Row guess, and I'm the only one that knows the answer, unless you looked it up.
I didn't. In my periphery, I've seen a couple of numbers while I was looking other things up, but I don't know if it was budget. I didn't look close enough because I didn't want to spoil anything.
Okay, well, all right.
Because I could just fake it, but I want to be honest to people.
It makes sense. You can do that. All right, why don't you go first then, Beard of Liberty? What do you think the budget, opening weekend, and gross worldwide was? Remember, this was 86, so...
Yeah, and have very little frame for budgets for those films at the time because I was 3. I want to say like, I don't know if I'm gonna get this anywhere near like 9 million budget, because because it's not just like regular throwaway animation, it's Don Bluth animation, and I know enough from Pete's Dragon that whatever budget they set for him, he always ends up doing more. So I'm thinking it probably was supposed to be less, but I'm going to say 9 million budget. Opening weekend, I think it probably did. I'm going to say it doubled that opening weekend. So 18 million opening, gross worldwide. this is even more difficult. I hate that you've added this one the last month over doing these because that's more difficult for me to figure out. I think overall this thing very easily, like it probably quadrupled its budget. Okay, I might be overestimating opening weekend, but I'm gonna say it quadrupled the budget worldwide. So let's round it up and go 40 million worldwide. I mean, it might be a little bit more because I seem to remember this being very popular, but that might be on the home rental.
That's what I wrote down.
Oh, did you?
That's funny. Okay, so okay, let's see if anybody in the chat down there has guessed the number as well.
Here, I'll do one better. I'll say 50.
Don't make me start singing a song from the show because I can only say never and sound good for those 2 words. Then it goes downhill. So
Here,
better guess.
I'll go for that now. I'll change my gross to 50.
10, 20, 50. Okay.
You're going, okay.
So we're not completely spot on because I did say 9, 18, 40. So
yeah. I'm trying to think in the 80s numbers because I know cartoons didn't cost like. And plus, the actors in this are not huge either, except for Don DeLuise.
And I mean, there was some like this. I mean, you had Christopher Plummer, but this was his first voice acting job.
Yeah.
For an animated film.
Hey, what's up, Rogue? Good to see you. Yeah, you're a little blurry.
How did I get...
That's what you get by giving your numbers.
Hold on, let me try this.
Don't worry, everybody. You're just drunk. Def's not blurry. It's you.
Yeah. Well, what's going on here?
I don't know. There he goes.
Maybe I'll do that.
America, what a place!
Also, I do want to say, just give people just a second more if they want to guess. I really like the beard representation on the mouse populace. There were some good beards in there.
Well, I mean, they're furry underneath, you know.
I mean, there were some that were put my beard to shame.
Squeaka says she's going with whatever numbers I have.
That's smart.
I like that. That's probably a really smart thing.
Well, here's thumbs up. Like I said, I didn't know this came out in theater. By the time I got to watch it, we were renting it a lot in the rental store. So
this definitely came out in the movie theater. It actually came out in November 23rd, 1986. So this was a Thanksgiving movie.
Okay. Well, that would make sense because the first movie I ever saw in theaters was Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Okay. All right.
So that was
here we go.
89, something like that.
The budget, opening weekend, and gross worldwide. No idea what the budget is.
Okay.
Could not find it. Could not find
opening
it on
weekend is only 5?
I could not find it on Internet Movie Database. I could not find it on numbers. But they did have the opening weekend, which was a little over 5 million, and it actually made 84.5 million over the world. I have a feeling this movie didn't do too great outside of the U.S.
Yeah, I did see one trivia thing that Spielberg didn't want to call it an American Tale because most of the production actually happened outside of America. So we thought it might cause a problem. Okay, I did see numbers. I don't know if this is what I saw earlier. Okay, it's gonna sound like I cheated. Bluth had agreed to accept $6.5 million to get it produced, which later grew to $9 million. So it's estimated that $9 million was the actual budget, although that's not absolutely confirmed.
Okay.
At the time, Disney was spending about $12 million per film, so that still was a budget or a deal for an animated film like this.
Hey, here's a little trivia for you from IMDb.
Okay.
Fievel was the name of Steven Spielberg's grandfather.
Wow. Okay.
That's why.
And he was Jewish.
Don't read too many of those off because if we run short, JT's probably going to ask me to read some trivia.
Yeah. So I mentioned earlier that the soundtrack to this movie was phenomenal. Like I didn't realize like once you start watching this movie, and you haven't seen it in a long time, but the music comes back, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that song. A lot of great tunes. Some just kind of would get to you too, even when you were a kid. Because one, he's got the Never Say Never, and he's got the one Somewhere Out There. A lot of good, fun. No Cats in America.
Yeah, and Somewhere Out There actually kind of came up when Squeak and I watched this earlier. Because she knew the song but hadn't seen the film, which shocked me when I figured out that she hadn't seen it. But no,
Yes,
it actually was written for the movie. It just was so popular that it kind of outgrew the film.
Yeah, this movie. Yeah, this song, I think a lot of kids remember from this time period. Like, it's basically the two older children, Fievel and his sister, singing the same song at the same time at the same moon, even though they're living like downstairs.
Well, at this point, he's actually moved on. He's living in a water tower because he escaped where he was, which was just upstairs from them.
Yeah.
So, in fact, if he hadn't escaped and just stayed there, being basically a child slave to make things for a gangster,
Yeah, that was kind of a dark.
Yeah, we'll get into we'll definitely get into the villains of this movie, but it
is a movie full of near misses. But yes, this song, absolutely iconic. Very well done. I like the fact that, okay, I don't know who actually voiced Fievel, but if it wasn't actually a little kid, then I like the fact that they were able to play it off like they couldn't be perfect.
No one was a little kid, and I don't think anybody was a little kid. So I'm gonna play a little bit of the song, and hopefully we don't get too in trouble. Let me know if you can hear this, guys.
Lullaby. It helps to think we're sleeping underneath the same big sky. Somewhere out there, if love was us through.
R2 is like, if he could be asleep right now, and he's like, he just jolted awake going, I'm getting a copyright claim.
All right. The guy who is the voice of Fievel was only 8 years old or 7.
Okay.
His
See,
picture,
I like that because you can tell that when he sings, he's not a professional singer, and especially when he sings the Never Say Never song, he pronounces some words similar to the guy who was voice acting a Frenchman. So he was kind of adapting to whoever he was accompanying at the time, which makes it seem very natural because kids obviously would do that.
Yeah, that moon's huge, by the way.
Oh yeah. Or it's just a really long zoom lens. That's how you get the effect of a big moon.
Yeah, so this is a really very cool song. Like I said, there's a lot more. But yeah.
I mean, you have the No Cats in America song, the Never Say Never, Somewhere Out There. If you can call what Dom DeLuise was doing was singing for half of his song, it was basically just him being Dom DeLuise, but it's still fantastic.
He slipped in a couple of lines from Wizard of Oz in there.
Yeah,
did he?
Yeah,
I've seen it, but I'm not familiar enough with it.
Well, if you ever seen the Wizard of Oz, the lines like "put them up," you know, doing that whole thing. Yeah, that's a whole thing from Wizard of Oz.
The lion. Yeah, that's the lion from Wizard of Oz.
Anytime Tiger's on screen, I get distracted by him just doing the Dom DeLuise thing where he goes.
All right, so here's the villain. This is the main villain of the movie. Basically,
T-Rat.
Yeah, so he's a rat. He comes across Fievel off the boat because he's like, I'm trying to look for my family. Do you know where they are? And he's like, oh yeah, I know everybody. I know where the family is. And this is when definitely you mentioned where he takes him to like a kid camp for child labor. And he meets some other mice kids there, and he sells them for whatever. And then
he needed that 50 cents, man.
Right, and then he said, anything else you make out of the kid, I get a little bit from it. We do find out later that he is not a rat. he is a cat. But you know,
Must be a tiny little cat.
Yeah, he probably is.
Look, I know rats can get big, but still.
New York rats can get massive. So, and then Fievel also meets his two friends. This kid, and the love of his life that he just meets, because she's protesting, you know, freedom from cats.
Well, I don't even think he's listening to what she's saying when he sees her.
No,
he is just smitten.
He calls Fievel something different though. He's like, "That's a weird name. What does he call him?"
Philly.
Philly. Yeah.
Yeah. Where I'm going to call you Philly. Philly Mousekewitz.
Well,
because there's so many of them with the same name in the same area, and they.
Well, I mean, and that was a thing that historically happened: is people would come over to U.S. and either there would be an accent or some misunderstanding, and their name would be written down incorrectly. That's why you got a lot of mostly last names, but also first names that were done. And you see that in the movie when his sister Tanya comes over, and they write her down as Tilly.
Yeah.
Because that actually historically happened, that happened a lot because people just didn't care to be accurate. They were just trying to process people.
Yeah, that actually happened to my great grandparents' parents. They came over. They decided not to use their name from the UK, and they decided to just call themselves Britain because they were from Britain. So you know that happens. So that part, the rat, so yeah, he kind of hangs. He meets these people along the way in his trip, but they're all really close to his family, and he's worried about, you know, he lost his original family, but he's kind of gaining a family even through the movie here in America. And we do discover that the rat is a cat, and Fievel is the one that really kind of discovers it. And there's some of the other cats down there with their top hats.
Yeah. And
I think those are the Russian cats, actually.
Oh yeah, in the bottom corner, that's the Russian cats, the Cossack cats. I did forget to mention that his relationship with that one mouse that was like the streetwise guy is definitely very akin to what is it, Oliver Twist and the Artful Dodger. There's a lot of references to other things in this movie that are, I think, very well done.
Yeah, and like I said, he's kind of a silly guy. He's like a street kid, like, you know, hey, we're gonna go over here, eh? he's a fun, but he looks out for Fievel though. He's like, where does he go? You know, where's Philly?
Yeah.
I gotta make sure to find. He's just a kid, you know. I gotta take care of him.
Even being as like Twitter pated and love smitten as he is, he's like, oh, where'd Philly go? I was too busy like kissing my girl.
But the rat is trying to make a deal with the mice, so that way the cats can have them. He's kind of swindling his way in to do that. And then this is also when we meet Tiger, Beard's favorite character. He's not the smartest cat out there.
No, he's also a vegetarian.
It makes you wonder, like, how many vegetables does he eat? Because he's like the biggest cat in the room.
Now, if you've ever owned an orange cat, I've owned an orange cat before. They always are fat, usually.
Yeah, I have one now.
And they're also not the smartest.
So I mean, I know we can't really blow it up anymore, but I don't know if people can see just even the quality of the line difference in that cage up there, because that's one of the things that was done by Xerox. There was a physical, actual thing they took video of, then they Xeroxed the frames and laid them into the animation with some color on top.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to show an example of that here soon. But so this is his family that he kind of gets because everyone kind of enjoys this little mouse.
Well, and a lot of people have found family, and that's been a story. You know, I don't want to say trope because that makes it sound like I'm dismissing it, but it's been a story piece in a lot of things over the years. Is the difference between family and found family? Both can be valuable, or your family can be terrible, and your found family can be amazing.
Yeah, that is actually true. But yeah, this is Tiger. He's with Fievel through all the sequels as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which I didn't know there was a third and fourth. I've only ever seen the second.
Yeah, those only came out in the movie theaters. or
I
VHS?
think the first and second one were very close together, and then third and fourth came like way later.
Mm.
So,
well, everyone enjoyed this guy though. Everyone enjoyed.
Yeah, he's
Tiger.
basically just a lovable oaf that's trying to fit in. Like he
Yeah.
doesn't actually, he's not nearly as evil as all the other guys. He's the guy that's like, I hate the boss's music. Everybody's like, shut up. You can't say you hate the boss's music. He doesn't understand they're playing poker. He thinks they're playing something else.
Yeah, or yeah,
but like I said, he's so big that none of them really want to mess with him too much.
True.
You notice that?
Yeah, I could get that. So we're speaking of movie theaters. We're gonna go into the theaters and see what we could have watched alongside this movie as well.
Shut your drums and stop kicking the seats! We're trying to watch the movie!
So this movie came out again in November 21st, 1986. It was number 2 behind Crocodile Dundee. So Crocodile Dundee,
wow,
movie theaters. This
wow, and Crocodile Dundee was in 9 weekends in release. It's still doing 5s.
And Song of the South from Walt Disney, the dreaded Song of the South, was released during this time.
Well, it was re-released. That was when Disney was doing a lot of re-releases.
Yeah. And then you had Firewalker. There was another new movie.
Firewalker is a Chuck Norris movie.
It is. You had Color of Money with Tom Cruise. Peggy Sue Got Married.
Soul Man.
Soul Man was on there. So it wasn't a great, too great of a weekend.
Are we just gonna gloss over Def Row's reaction to "Ooh, Soul Man"?
I'm not.
Oh, that was such a bad. Oh my god!
I heard it.
I think that's where C. Thomas Howell lost his career. I think.
I heard what he said. I'm just. From 86, maybe 30 years since I've seen it. Yeah, it's some of us have not seen this in a long time, but Bagels, I do recommend you rewatch this one again. I think you'll enjoy it, just like we did when we watched we reviewed Rockadoodle. So, but not. I mean, Stand By Me was down there too, but not a lot of like big hitters on this weekend. So, I mean, American Tail. You got to think about it, right? It's probably Thanksgiving weekend. A lot of families probably had their kids home for the holiday, and they took them to this movie. So
I'm surprised to see The Wraith in this first week of The Wraith out on this thing.
I don't remember that movie.
The Wraith is a Charlie Sheen movie. It's one where he comes back as this dude that drives a car and takes out a whole gang of people that killed him.
Oh, okay. Way to bring down the movie.
Charlie Sheen wish he could have done after all the TV execs didn't want to deal with him.
Well, that's before that.
I did way before. Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Nichols is asking, when are we doing another Pauly Shore movie? I don't know. Not sure. Usually, that might be a 2025 deal here. Usually in December we take some time off, so I don't know. Maybe we'll see. So, okay. But yeah, I mean, you could have had some fun in the movie theater here. Color of Money was a good one with Tom Cruise.
Crocodile Dundee was one of my favorites when I was a kid.
Crocodile Dundee was a
the
really
second
good
one
movie.
wasn't great.
How do you test if that was a woman or not?
Hold on.
That whole scene.
This is not nearly the same size, but that's not a knife. This is a knife.
Yeah. Great flick. All right, so we get to these mice want to get rid of the cats, right? And they have this grand idea, the secret weapon.
I'm sorry, you mean you see secret weapon?
Oh yeah.
Sorry. We waste the secret weapon.
Yeah. Before we talk about this, I want to share something with all of you. And if you haven't seen this movie in a while, this thing would have scared the crap out of not just a cat.
The giant mouse of Minsk, which is the story
kids.
that they were telling earlier on.
Mm-hmm. And you can tell that story here in a second.
Okay, so just real quick right there, my little sister, for the longest time, and my parents refused to correct her, thought that woman said, "Wee wees, the secret weatherman."
Oh.
And she would yell that out whenever she was watching this movie.
We wish.
Well, we keep all our weathermen secret.
Release the secret weapon! We got you! Oh my goodness! Wait.
Yeah, because they're trying to drive all the cats to the ship, so they get taken to Hong Kong.
I like how they stereotype that. Hey, send the cast to Hong Kong, they never come back, right?
I didn't even think about that.
Pretty much. That's the villain. We're gonna jump here with
Five will be in the smart guy he is.
Yeah.
And at this
the
point,
family still doesn't know he's here.
Yeah, at this point they still don't know he's there. This thing. This they actually built a model for. They filmed it, animated, and then they did the Xerox thing. So that's why
I wonder how large the model is, though.
Oh, I don't know that, but that's why the face looks a little bit different than a lot of the other animation. Is they actually built a model for it.
Yeah, but it looks terrifying.
Oh, it absolutely is. But I love the fact that they put on the side of it giant mouse of Minsk, and like printed it out.
Just so you know.
But also, these are all like blue collar immigrants that put what other people would consider like worthless skills to work to build this huge thing, using their textiles and their ingenuity, and their mechanical skills.
Yeah, it doesn't look any better than the second time.
I mean, it is. And I mean, because at the beginning of the movie, Fievel and his sister are being told the story of the giant mouse of Minsk, which was their dad says he was like, his tail was 100 feet long or whatever, and he was a giant, and he drove all the cats away and all this other stuff. And when they're thinking of what they can do to try to fight these cats, Fievel is the one that kind of presents that idea to everybody.
He does, and he's in the crowd. He's on the podium there with the mayor and that lady of New York, I guess, and he whispers to her what they should do, and the dad and the sister are in the crowd with the they're trying to see who's talking, and they could easily just move around from someone's big hat.
Yeah, woman with a big hat. And JT, we just got caught again doing an animation review without Alaska Jeff.
Well, we did kind of announce it last show. 2 shows ago, actually. So, I mean, sorry. And if you do follow us on Twitter or x.com, we do show it on the day of.
That was a brutal counter shout out. I like it. Cheers.
Yeah. So, Alaska Jeff, I'm sorry. Next time we do an animation film, we can call you up. I do remember, Beard. I think this was one on our list of great animations, and I don't think anybody put this really high up the list.
I mean, I hadn't seen it since I was a kid.
Yeah, if you want to go back, there's a live stream we did a few months ago about ranking animated movies, and this one wasn't really high on the list. All right, so X must be shadow banning you. Right? Probably is because we're not talking about too much political stuff, so it's probably hiding us. But no, this mouse is Fievel's idea, and it's so funny because the dad didn't even know. Like, oh, what the heck? Who else would have picked this, right? But he still thinks his son's gone.
Well, and there's such a variety of immigrants there. They do a fantastic job of it not just being Russian immigrants or anything like that. Because typically, I mean, historically, they would have congregated in, you'd have like the Irish Catholics here and, the German group here and everything like that. But they do a good job of kind of mixing everything in this story. So Yeah, it does kind of make it a little bit weird that, the Russian group wouldn't think, like, who would have
It's
thought
almost like
this?
it's almost like the cats are, like, I would say, like the native, like Americans that, their cats' fathers were
Well,
here.
I mean, you say native, but also, I mean, a lot of the gangsters that ended up kind of taking advantage of immigrants were immigrants themselves.
Right.
There's the
Or
thing where
they just got there sooner.
they go to Honest John in this story at Tammany Hall. Now, there actually was a guy named John at a place called Tammany Hall historically in our world that was an advocate for the Irish Catholic immigrants. Now, depending on who you believe, he either was like a saint that took care of everybody or was a super corrupt politician.
Yeah.
The
There's a movie.
The truth usually falls in the middle there, and we kind of see that in this story.
Yeah, Gangs of New York tells that story really well.
Did you catch the scene with Honest John, the very first scene with Honest John, where he is walking by the dead mouse that's laying on the table?
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, what was his name? And he marks it down. He's like, I'll make sure your vote counts.
He says, oh, he passed away even before he could vote.
Yeah.
And he writes his name down.
So that's a true, he's based off a true politician. Yes, if you want to learn more about that story, Gangs of New York.
You can look into Tammany Hall. Like I said, it's history, so there's multiple sides of what actually happened. But I think the story here actually did a fairly good job of portraying like a fair, like he was there for the people, but he also was kind of like in it for himself too.
Yeah. So this movie, they kind of get rid of the cats. They also start a fire.
Well, they at least get rid of the cats in like Brooklyn or wherever this is actually set.
Yeah, and
no more cats in America except for Tiger. He's awesome. The big
I think it's Brooklyn. Also, or because I don't think they're in Manhattan. I think they're in Brooklyn. Also, I think it's Brooklyn. They start a fire, which at this time in New York, there was like a fire every few years that burned half the city. I think in 1835 there was a huge fire that almost destroyed New York. So
that's one of the reasons that, like, I mean, the mice didn't start the fire; the cats started it, and then it blew up bigger. Then the people show up to put it out. But I mean, that's one of the reasons you had flammable fuels. You had going all the way back to whale oil, kerosene, and other things to light lamps. You had soot build up in chimneys, and that eventually can become flammable if you don't actually clean it out. And you've got unclean fuels burning in there, which this time everything was leaving residue behind that could become flammable. So yeah.
Well, you had general sanitation was not great at all either. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure at one time the damn rivers were flammable as well.
Yeah.
Probably.
It was always burning since the world's been turning.
Yeah, they're singing and we didn't start the fire. All right, so sometime after the fire, though, he eventually finds his dad and his original family. And
it's not before it gets like really dark too, though.
It does get really dark because he gets really sad. Like no one really wants
like
him.
He finally gives up, and they're going around. And spoilers for an old movie. Sorry, guys. His dad's playing Fievel's song, is what it's called, on his violin, which is one of the few things they got from their house when it burned in Russia. But Fievel's already heard that song. And so he ran to that earlier in the film only to find that it was a record, or not, it wasn't even a record. It was a wax cylinder being played on a phonograph.
Yeah, that's right.
And so now when he hears that song, he doesn't immediately key into it. So you get that moment, like, is he actually going to pay attention to it? Because his sister's saying, Dad, just play Fievel's song. He'll listen to it. He'll hear it.
Yeah. It was a touching movie there at the end, but he does find his parents.
This is also one of the scenes, like I said earlier, where the colors based on the mood change immediately. Because his dad finally has evidence that Fievel is out there somewhere. And so his family is portrayed in bright colors. And every time it cuts to just Fievel, everything is dull and dark.
Right.
And then the moment that he hears that and he starts running towards it, his colors brighten up. And then we see this right here.
And if you want, when you watch this as a kid, you don't really you get excited because he found his dad, right? But if you watch this from the other point of view as a parent, it means totally something even different. Can you imagine you lost your kid and then you don't know where
Oh,
they
and
are.
thought they were gone forever, and then, I mean, I can only imagine that because I don't have my own kid, but
that you know of.
Well, if I do, let's hope they don't come after child support because I've got nothing.
Well,
to give them.
you do have one thing that you take care of.
George of the jungle, strong as he can be.
Hey, you're gonna have Ginger Billy showing up at your front door, like, "Hey, Daddy."
Yeah. Yep. And he'll just be like,
He shows up. Hey, Baird. I didn't know if you knew this. We were related.
I think that would be hilarious.
But it's a great ending.
America, what a place.
When you think of some of the movies that came out of this time period, how many of them revolved around like a child getting separated from their parent and like they get the false hope that they found them and then losing hope again, like Land Before Time
or death. Yeah, because his mom dies, and then the dog dies, and all whatever.
In so many Disney movies, it's just like, hey, your parent's dead. Welcome to the real world, kid.
I know.
I mean, then you go right into the '90s with Home Alone and shit like that, where the kid that gets left behind somewhere.
Yeah, that would.
I mean,
yeah.
It's just they just like to torture kids in the '80s and '90s, apparently.
Well, they wanted to show you real life. This is really probably what it was. Now, this is right before the end of the credits. They finally finish. He's with his family, and like you said, most of the movie is just this dark, gloomy movie, and then at the end it gets very bright, and it gets even brighter when they show the Statue of Liberty. This is that scene when they finally finished, and I thought this was pretty cool. And this is also the scene where I think they do the 3D animation that you
this and also several of the boats were models that they created, and then they filmed and then drew over.
Yeah,
I like the wink.
They winked at me.
The pigeon came and got them because his masterpiece was created. So, this is the idealistic American dream has finally been realized.
Right.
And it's brighter too because they're flying above the smog instead of in the smog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and also for the kids out there who don't know, the Statue of Liberty it's copper. It used to be that color.
It used to be gold, yes, or copper. Yeah, it used to be kind of a bright, and it kind of got which copper does over time.
Mm-hmm.
It gets a patina.
Yeah, so it's weird that some people see that and go, "That's a strange artistic choice they did with the Statue of Liberty." It's like, oh, you did not pay attention in like basic history, did you?
No, they did not. But yeah, that's the Statue of Liberty, and they do show it off at the end there.
I especially like the fact that Tiger's being carried around by the busty pigeons.
Yeah. They show that a little earlier, but this is that.
He's like, "Oh, thank you for bringing me along, but you didn't have to. You in the front, a little bit higher, please."
Yeah, so it is exactly what it is. It's an American tale. It's about a family that goes through some troubles, gets to America, finally realizes their dream, and it kind of just depicts kind of what some of those families were going through back then. This is cool though, because like if you look at the map there, there's Manhattan, there's Brooklyn, and there's I think New Jersey's on the other side there, and they make the island of the Statue of Liberty a lot larger than it really is.
Yeah.
It's not that big.
It's halfway to space.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, I was like, wow.
Well, I would imagine that if you sail across the ocean and you come to that icon of what you're trying to go for, that make my beard tingle, that liberty and that freedom, that it would seem much larger than it actually is. It would, at least in your memory. At the time, it might not see that, but when you remember it, it would be this much larger, more impactful symbol. And so, it makes sense to just go ahead and draw it like that.
Yeah, it's very cool.
America, what a place.
And there are sequels, but one of the most famous sequels after this, which I count, is he does the next American thing, and that's going.
I like this one.
It's Going West.
I like this one.
See, I actually remember watching this one more than the first one myself.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I used to love the dog in the second one.
Yeah, the he's supposed to be like Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe eventually we'll most likely review this one as well. So
we got to get to it sooner rather than later. I love this movie.
Yeah. So Biggles will let you know on that, and then but like I said, this movie, both these movies are great, but it does tell two different American stories. So Going West is a completely different story. But speaking of that, this is a little announcement. Next week, we are either reviewing two movies that take place in the West, and it's a part of our American month. That's either Dances with Wolves or The Alamo from the 60s. So both great American stories. So we'll go to the two movies that we're going to review next. Now, we do have a poll in the chat. I don't know the results of that. Does anybody know? I don't have it up.
As it stands right now, what I'm looking at, 12 votes, 8% say freedom, 92% say caution headphone users. Freedom!
All right. Cool. You can go ahead and end that if you can. I can end it.
Oh, I don't have the access to that. This is what I'm looking at on YouTube.
So the poll's ended, but thanks for voting on that. We'll end that now. But yeah, freedom. They said that a lot. They were like freedom, like the mice, right? That's where that came from. So
there he goes.
Yep. Hello.
What?
Oh, I thought you said something else. Did you say something?
No,
not me.
Oh, okay. I'm hearing things.
I don't know which one of us just had a minor stroke, but we should probably get checked into a hospital just to make sure. We're hearing things. I don't know if I am or you are or whatever.
Yeah, okay. One thing that then you mentioned this, Defro, earlier was McDonald's was all about Fievel. They had these books. You can get a little doll, a little stuffed animal like this. It's Tony and Fievel, a little book. You got Fievel and Tiger, Fievel and Friends, Fievel's boat trip. So it's like tells the movie in these little books. So if you still have these or know anybody, check them out. They might be pretty neat.
The link that I sent you had they had Christmas stockings too.
Yeah, I saw that they had Christmas stockings. I mean,
and that was from McDonald's as well. I was like, that's why I keep saying, how long did this movie? Did they do something every year for McDonald's? Because I remember this stuff coming out like different times, or.
I mean, they do that a lot, though. I mean, every now.
It was 86. Came out on Thanksgiving, so it would have had a pretty long run, I would think, because that was back in the day when movies would have 12, 16-week runs.
And McDonald's, even today, they'll have like the same toys, just over and over. So maybe, I don't know, but I do remember these books. But yeah, you might find some of these somewhere, but yeah, they're somewhere out there.
Somewhere.
Yeah. I think I even had one of the stuff animals.
And if you don't think you can find them, never say never.
Yeah.
eBay
go ahead.
has a lot.
I'm sure eBay has quite a bit. Just so you know, one another before we wrap it up and we do our final review of the movie. Go check out our 1990 top rentals. 90 came out last week. 91 is coming out tomorrow. And again, these are the videos, little short videos that we do that show the top rented videos of that year. And we just wrapped up, like I said, we wrapped up 85 through 89, and now we're getting into the 90s. And some of these are really great because I'm having fun making these because I'm remembering a lot of these movies that I'm like, I keep texting Beard and R2. We need to review some of these on these lists.
Oh yeah,
they will definitely be fun. All right, so now we are going to do our final review on Criticalist. And again, that's criticalist.com. It is a movie review site where you can go put in your own.
And it wouldn't be a final reviews if I didn't interrupt JT to say, not sponsored. We just like them. They're cool dudes, and you should check them out. It's true. That was perfect. That was perfect.
It was perfect, wasn't it?
It looks like he's already got one vote. I wonder who did that.
Was that you?
That's one of the cool things about this is they actually don't show you the reviews until a couple people do it. So you can't be influenced by just one person having an extreme opinion on something.
That is true. I think you have to have I think it has to have 5 votes.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and rate American Tail 1986. And I'm going to go up to about right about here, Rad.
It's definitely in Rad. Maybe a little bit higher Rad just for the animation because it's Don Bluth, but I know the story isn't super amazing. It's kind of basic, but it's still enjoyable. I don't know. As long as it's above 70, I'll go with it. I think it's probably a little bit above 71 if it was just me, but
all right.
I wouldn't
go
too high.
What do you think? What do you think?
Look, I think I watched this way too many times as a kid because when I watched it again, I just didn't get the same feelings I had before.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I'm right there. I'm kind of right there with you on the Rad part. I mean, it's not like normally because when I reviewed the cartoon that I reviewed this past Saturday, the animation, the one I got more feelings from that than I did from this. Just because, you know, I saw that.
It's not a complex story. It's not.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I mean, it's a kids movie.
Yeah, and I don't know. The songs kind of take me out of it a little bit on some parts of the movie. Like the whole "No Cats in America" song, kind of just like, okay.
Is that why you were silent during that discussion?
Okay. Here's the weird thing: is I normally hate when songs just randomly show up in animated films. These bother me. I'm not saying they don't, but they bother me far less than anything else I've come across recently.
The slow song's not bad. It's the ones where they're talking about the No Cats in America and all this stuff. Like they're just having like this huge parade. Like, hey, we're going to some place that there's no cats.
Oh, we got a cat truther over here.
Well, wouldn't you be excited too?
If it was believable.
I just love the fact. I just love the fact that we're gonna get to the end. I love that we're gonna get to the end of this review, and it's gonna be one of the first ones where the notes don't say Beer didn't like this. It's gonna be Defro didn't like the songs.
Well, here's the thing. Even when I was a kid, I didn't quite understand why they were singing the song "No Cats in America" because I knew that wasn't true.
Okay,
like you trying to fool me?
Stupid fat hobbit.
How dare you call him that word? He is not a hobbit. But
oh man, no, it's. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know if I want to show this movie to my kids. To be honest with you, I don't know if they would be that interested in it.
It is I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. The No Cats in America thing is ridiculous because we obviously know that they're there.
Well, it's the movie. The whole movie is a slow burn. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and it really is. It really is. And if people have grown up on newer movies, this would be a hard watch for them, even as a kid.
Yeah.
And the No Cats in America thing is kind of hard to comprehend as a kid because that requires you to understand the image that immigrants had in their mind of what America was.
Yeah,
versus when they got there and realized what it was.
Look at this from Alaska Jeff.
All right, hold on. I gotta switch over to my YouTube channel.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to ban that man.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're gonna keep it around a Rad. We're gonna overwrite Death Row.
No, that's fine. That's where I would put it because I mean I understand its value and where it stands.
There is no graphic language. There's a
No.
I wouldn't say it's G-rated, so I don't think there's a lot of violence.
Even if there's none, grab that slider and move it back down to none, so it actually shows up on the review.
Yeah, we'll just do this.
I mean, you can take it back down to the bottom; it still should show up, or you can
Well,
just hit the checkbox.
There is a scary mouse. There is a mouse.
Actually,
monster.
I forgot to mention when they're on the ocean, there's that personification of the waves being like this big monster trying to drown the ship.
Yeah,
which is actually pretty scary. And was Don Bluth wanted to go even further with that, and Steven Spielberg just said no, just no. That is scary shit, and no.
Yeah, this makes kids scared to drown everywhere.
Yeah, I guess. Really, no sexual content or political bias.
Mean, I don't know if you some of those things that what's his face says that Irish mouse girl. Okay, I'm kidding.
What was the name of the mouse that kept doing the W's on the R's and everything?
That was
what was her name?
So that was Gussie Mouseheimer, voiced by Madeline Kahn.
She reminded me of the priest from The Princess Bride.
Oh yes,
yeah, it's that same thing. It's like they pulled different things from other movies to put in this movie.
And JT, just take family friendly up to 100. It's American Tail. It's absolutely.
And then entertainment value, it is very entertaining. There's a ton of fun. Even though you don't like the music.
Even though Death Row is kind of bored by it these days because he's a jaded old man.
It doesn't hit me the same way. And I'm pretty sure if I tried to show it to my kids, they'd be like, what the hell is this?
No, I get it. I get it.
No.
All right, so
yes, it's finally not me.
Yes, this was a very fun movie.
So
I would show it to my kid.
What's our one sentence? What'd you think? Because we were told last week that's an important thing to add there. What'd you think?
Like I said, it's
I would show it to my kid if I wanted to take a nap.
Okay.
I mean, that's the truth. They would watch it, but then fall asleep.
Yeah,
okay. I do agree that Don Bluth is dark.
I mean, he had All Dogs Go to Heaven. I mean, that was kind of
and the Black Cauldron, which is one of my favorite movies, animated movies, even though it's not great. True American Story, family fun, and great music. However, Death Row, we should link his Criticalist profile there. Hates it. No, don't put hates it. Don't put hates it.
I would use it as a sleep aid.
But Death Row has more fond memories. Okay,
it's causing me to type wrong here. Look at this.
Slap Addy.
Yeah. Let's see. There we go. Alrighty. There it is. Submitted. We will link this video into that review, but we gave it a 74 here on After the Weekend. Death Row, you can give it whatever you want over there on your account, my Criticalist. They can definitely find you there. Beard of Liberty, you can also do your own review. I think you have your own account as well.
Yeah, I haven't been keeping up with that, but I should go back for all those times y'all called me out for being a hater.
I see Beard putting 100% on this one.
He should.
I would put 100%.
Family fun, a great movie there.
I mean,
all right.
Maybe not 100%, but did you see that Irish mouse? She was cute. What am I missing?
She's got the crazy face going on, man.
Move this man!
It's okay. It's America. You can believe what you want.
America, what a place!
America.
Yeah. All right, Beard. Here's your favorite time before we say goodnight. You get to pitch a hoodie.
Oh yeah, I'm not wearing it right now because it's not that cool in here, but that is a fantastically comfortable hoodie, and I'm looking forward to the cold weather coming back because I love that thing. Honestly, 100%, genuinely. If this ad wasn't happening, I would still say the same thing. But yeah, check it
Satisfactory,
out.
excellent.
Yeah, we can definitely pass over at mixtees.com, and you can use our code ATW 20 and get 20%.
Yeah, and the sizing is pretty accurate. They've got a humorous sizing scale, because I don't know if you go to you're buying a shirt, it's like, oh, it's this, it's got numbers and everything. Last time I looked, at least, their sizing scale was a skinny dude wearing all the sizes of stuff, followed by a big dude wearing all the sizes of stuff. Just like, I don't know how to describe that. Just go there. It's fun.
Go
It's
get a
fun to
hoodie.
see how bad we look.
Yeah.
Is that
If you do get a hoodie, we don't always get notified that when you do. So if you do, let us know. You can let us know here, or you can let us know on X over there and After the Weekend, or you can leave it in the comments that, hey, I got a hoodie, and then we'd love to see a picture of you with it on. Where did he go? Oh, he's getting it.
Just in case nobody believed me, it's
There
right
it is.
here.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry.
Perfect.
Sorry.
It's finally cooling off.
It's genuinely one of my favorite things.
Finally cooling off that you could probably wear it. But Defro, this has been great. Thanks for coming on again. I'm assuming that you're going to be back for either the Alamo or Dances with Wolves. We'll pick which one we're going to do here in a little bit.
Either one's great with me. I haven't seen Dances with Wolves in a while.
Well, we are doing both. I just don't know which is coming up next.
Which one's next? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I got my hoodie. So, you got a hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have to send it to us. You got to send a picture and tag us. Hopefully you don't have to be in the picture. You could just put it on a bed or something if you want to. But yeah. So we'll either do the Alamo or the Dance with Wolves. So I'm excited to do those too.
I think with the Alamo, I've only seen bits and pieces of it. I don't think I've seen it all the way through like I should.
Yeah, it's from 1960. So
yeah, well, see, I used to spend all summer with my grandparents, and they always had TCM on the TV, so I would always catch bits and pieces of stuff.
I'm a little bit disappointed we're doing the classic Alamo, but also don't hate it because I know a little bit of I know a couple facts from that shoot based on the Texas Longhorn Museum visit that I had. There's a newer version of the Alamo story that I'm going to save for when that anniversary comes around, because I definitely want to do that, and that's one of my favorite movies of modern times.
Okay, why didn't you say that when I was picking the movie?
You'd already picked the movie, and I decided I'm not going to argue with you because that is a classic movie. It's like
it is the John Wayne Alamo.
Yeah, it's John Wayne Alamo. It's a classic movie.
We don't normally do a lot of classic movies.
I think Beer's talking about the one where Pee Wee Herman shows up and dances on the table and everything, right?
No. I'm not going to get in. I'm not getting into the one I like right now because I can talk about that movie for a long time.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up there. Everyone, you have a good night. Be safe out there. And if you haven't seen this movie, American Tail, or you haven't seen it in a long time, we do. Well, me and Beer recommend that you watch it again and hopefully have a fun time watching it.
I'm not going to say that Defro hates it. I'm going to say he's ambivalent.
I think they just burned me out on it as a kid.
Remember, you're the one. You're the one that asked us to review one of the worst movies that we've ever reviewed on this channel.
I won't allow it.
What are you going to do to me, Daddy?
Tighten my belt by one loop so I don't feel hunger pains, and your sister and mother will have to do likewise. Okay, Joshua, you want to get rough with me? You want to show me that you don't like the choice of this house for our vacation by going on a hunger strike? Well, I'll accept the challenge. But just remember, when I was your age, I really did suffer from hunger. We'll see who gets through this. But just remember, I've got more practice than you. I'll see you tomorrow.
I would cast you both in my movie.
And on that note, we are going to say good night. And God bless America. And thanks again to all you vets out there. And Rick, if you're watching this now or after the fact, I'm sorry, but we miss you, man.
This didn't make anything worse. R2.
Yeah, we miss you, man, and hopefully you get well soon and recover quickly. That way we can enjoy you on here again. So, all right, everyone. I'm gonna end it with a cap dance, and we'll talk to you later.
Truck to refrigerators to dumpster, 360 spin onto the palace, backflip gainer into the trash.
This is it. Man, big just relax and have fun. Just gonna have fun with it.
Talking away. I don't know what to say. I'll say it anyway.
I'm lucky.
Today's another